Now to our ABC News investigation into one of the biggest sellers of gold in this country, a company that relies on a host of high-profile and influential pitchmen. Chief Investigative Correspondent Brian Ross has more on this for us. And Brian, you've been looking into this for some time, but now the company's facing an official investigation as well.
That's right, George. Authorities in California have opened an investigation into 2 gold investment companies, including one hugely successful operation called Goldline that sells hundreds of millions of dollars worth of gold to American consumers every year, using 2 former presidential candidates and several top personalities at Fox News in its sales pitches.
Thank you for calling Goldline.
When customers call Goldline, located in this building in Santa Monica, California, they are assured they are in good hands.
Now, just so you know, Glenn Beck is a client here. He's been with us several years.
Fox News talk show host Glenn Beck makes no secret of his endorsement of Goldline.
The people that I trust are the people at Goldline.
In fact, the Goldline website features a who's who of conservative commentators who endorsed the company, including former presidential candidate Fred Thompson.
My choice for gold is Goldline.
And former presidential candidate Mike Huckabee.
The people at Goldline will explain just how easy it is for you to buy gold.
But for all the endorsements and fancy sales brochures, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office and the Santa Monica City Attorney say they are now investigating consumer complaints from across the country. Many saying the salesmen steered them to buy what they say were overpriced gold coins.
The 2 main categories of complaints are false and misleading statements, and then also people not getting what they expected to get.
Joe Kismartin of suburban Detroit says he ended up losing almost half of the $5,000 he invested with Goldline because, he says, the Goldline salesman pressured him to buy gold coins, not the gold bullion he had seen in the commercial.
I wanted the gold bullion. They kind of more or less talked me into buying the gold coins.
When he went to sell his $5,000 in gold coins, he was only able to get about $2,900 at a local coin shop 5 months later, a loss of $2,100.
Well, I'm on a fixed income. I only get paid once a month, and it kind of hurt my pocket real bad.
Congressional investigators say Goldline uses Glenn Beck to steer customers to coins, citing Beck's warnings that only gold coins are safe from government confiscation.
You see, back in 1933, FDR said, okay, we're going to take all your gold.
A theme picked up by Goldline salespeople in this pitch, taped by the liberal watchdog group Media Matters.
So Glenn Beck just says, look, you've confiscated bullion before.
It is absolutely not true that the government has any power to come confiscate your gold. And very often the very same commentators that are stoking that fear are also selling these coins.
Glenn Beck told us he believes in Goldline and points to its A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Fox News says it has never received a single complaint about Goldline, and Goldline remains a prominent advertiser on the network despite the ongoing investigations in Los Angeles and by Congress, which now plans hearings in the coming weeks, George.
Okay, Brian, thanks. We're joined now by the Executive Vice President of Goldline, Scott Carter. Thanks for flying in for this, Mr. Carter.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Let's begin with those 2 major allegations at the heart of the investigation, that your salespeople make false and misleading statements during the pitch, and that they steer customers to buy these coins rather than the gold bullion. Brian's people talked to former Goldline salespeople who said that's exactly what they're told to do when they're trained.
Well, that's just not accurate. Actually, we offer a full slate of products. We sell tens of millions of dollars of not only gold bullion, but coins with collector value. And the ultimate decision is to the consumer that is calling us, because there are features and benefits of coins with collector value that is of interest to them. One, they're made by governments, not private mints, which is important. They're easily recognizable, whether they're a British sovereign or a Swiss 20 franc, and that's important to others as well. They also come in fractional sizes, often less than an ounce. So when individuals want to buy in smaller quantities or they want to liquidate, sometimes they prefer to buy in smaller sizes.
They also have a much higher markup for Goldline, and no question about that. For example, if I buy $1,000 in those collector coins from you today, a month later I say, you know what, I just want to sell them. I'm not going to get anything close to $1,000 back. I only get about $600 or $700 back, right?
We would encourage you not to do that. In fact, what we...
That doesn't... But because I would only get $600 or $700 back.
We encourage people. Well, I think it's a great point, but when you're buying a physical asset, that, like if you're buying a piece of real estate, there are upfront expenses, brokerage fees, inspections. So in our business, you're buying a physical asset. We have to ship the product. You're talking to someone on the telephone. We have compliance departments. So what we instruct individuals in our risk disclosures, which is very important, is that, one, this needs to be a liquid investment, and it should be a diversification strategy, no more than 5 to 20% of your portfolio. But more importantly, you should hold this 3 to 5 years, preferably 5 to 10. This is a long-term strategy. If you're a speculator, this is not the right investment for you.
You're talking about investments here, but in fact, your salespeople are not investment advisors, and one of the reasons for that is so that they can avoid regulation by state regulatory authorities and the SEC. They don't have this legal and fiduciary responsibility to look out for the customer.
You're absolutely right. We are not legal advisors, but they do understand precious metals, and individuals are calling to diversify their portfolio. Gold is one component of a portfolio that's important. And let me tell you this. We've been in business for 50 years. We've been doing this for a long time. Over $500 million in revenue, I know. So we take great pride in how we treat our customers. We take great pride in the A+ rating we have, because we extend not only in our sales process, but in our service process. Maybe it's helpful if I talk about our sales process just briefly. 3 quick points. One, we're not an outbound call center. We only take on initial calls inbound. So a customer has to respond to one of our ads before we even talk to them. There's no cold calling out. So they're responding to an ad that we put on TV that highlights the coins that are most popular.
Right, but one of the things that comes out in those ads is you just saw the Glenn Beck endorsement of they're talking about FDR confiscating gold in 1933. And your sales packets include a facsimile of that executive order. But you heard the congressman there say the government cannot come in and confiscate your gold. You don't really believe the government can or will come in and confiscate people's gold, do you?
It's hard to determine what the government will do. In fact, in 1933, under executive order, shortly after FDR took office, that was exactly what was done. So,
well, he paid market price, $21 an ounce at the time.
It's a very interesting point. He did pay $20 an ounce at the time when someone came down and turned in their gold, but it's often not reported that months after that, the price of gold was moved up to $35 an ounce. So that was a nice little haircut, a devaluation of the currency on the fiat currency.
So you think that's a live possibility right now?
I think that, I don't know whether it's a possibility, but the fact that it's been done before, and individuals right now are concerned about fiat currencies, declining dollar value. Many articles in the paper are
going to hit a computer.
Are paralleling 1933 to today.
Okay, Scott Carter, thanks very much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.